Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of a Pretty Little Podcast. I'm Allie Violet Vixen Commissaro, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host, Jamie Reed.
Hi guys, excited to be here again.
Tonight we're joined by Bellwether Ritual. With their haunting sound and immersive storytelling, they're crafting a musical experience like no other. Let's unravel the mystery behind the music. Please welcome Bellwether Ritual.
Hey y'all.
Hilary,
Hey Allie.
Hi.
Thanks Jamie. Thanks
How
Allie
you
for
guys
having us.
doing tonight?
For having us.
Yeah, hectic day, but we're glad to be here.
Yeah, you were telling us beforehand, like you got up, you like started your day.
Yeah, so I woke up
like
at 4.
I overslept and didn't realize that the clocks had changed. Yep.
Yeah, so
Starting
I
it
woke
out
up
on a good.
I woke up at 4 a.m. to watch the sunrise on Big Oven Knob, which is super cool. And now I'm feeling it with 8 o'clock on a Sunday. So yeah, but it was a lot of fun, and we're happy to be here.
We're happy to have you
I
here.
was at the gym.
Hey, that's productive.
That's a nice day.
I wish I could be a gym person. Like, I want to be. I feel like my life's like too chaotic. I can just never like actually get myself out the door and to the gym.
I don't have the
Tacos and
discipline
beer.
for the gym.
So, how did you guys come together as a band?
Yeah, so I'll start this one off, and then I'll pass it on over to Hilary.
Yeah, we
So
kind of just all jump in, like whoever
yeah, that's
wants
cool.
to talk.
Yeah, sure. So I started the band in 2021, like many other bands at the time started thanks to the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. We just had a lot of time, and I've been in bands since I was 15, and took a little bit of a break to have a career. And then once that hit, I was like, oh wow, I have all this time, and now I'll pick up the guitar again, and started looking for people. And then we kind of launched the band in November 2021. And Hilary, when did you come in? I think it was 2022, somewhere around there.
2022. So I'm not originally from the Lehigh Valley where Mike and crew hail from. So I had moved to the area, was looking for a band, and the good old fashioned way found them on Craigslist in this
I love that.
technological era, just back to the old fashioned way. So
The one ad.
yep, exactly. The musicians personals.
Now,
And
where are you
so
from? Now, where did
I'm
you
a
come from?
longtime Chicagoan, so I was in several bands.
Midwestern.
What's up?
Midwesterner like me.
Not born and bred, but it's a long-winded tale. But spent my adult life, my musical life, in Chicago, many a band, and so moved to the area for a job, and stumbled into Mike, and the rest is history.
So I gotta know what's the story behind the name, because it's very, very cool.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming. So I actually misunderstood what Bellwether meant initially, and I thought it meant something else. But really, what it is, it's something. It means a couple different things. One is like an identifier of trends, and the other thing is it's a bell that the lead sheep in a flock of sheep wears. So to me, it's kind of to keep track of the rest of the sheep. So to me, ultimately, it means kind of like the Bellwether Ritual to me is when we get together to play music, we come together, and then also when we perform and everyone else comes to the show, that's kind of the Bellwether Ritual to me. I don't know what it means, if anything different to you, Hilary.
Basically, the
Does it
run
have
of
the
it is
same
kind of
meaning
has
to you, Hilary?
yeah, multiple meanings. It's got multiple layers, like sheep, how that could be explained so many different ways, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, it's fitting, and even the symbol is fitting. I feel like it's almost like a dark ode to a sheep in a lot of ways, the ram's head. So
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. Yeah, you're covering it now, but underneath you is your logo. And I was saying it's like really, really cool. Oh, you
Cool,
got it
thank you.
behind you, Mike.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
So, if you had to describe your music, I'll say in 3 words. I'll give you each 3 words. How would you describe your music?
Entire friggin' band conversation 90% of the time. So, and I don't know that we've ever really truly decided on a genre, which I think that's the cliche thing to say is like, oh, we can't be defined. But we love the term like desert psychedelia. I just like kind of a fear and loathing, kind of easy rider, like 70s homage, but it's got a lot of like darkness to it too. That was way more than 3 words, but
No, you're good.
uh, but like desert psychedelia is
I
kind of
more
one
say
portion of
3
it.
words because I don't want the people to feel, like, overwhelmed that they have to, like, give a whole, like, explanation, description of their but oh, yeah, we
I'll s
encourage talking.
Yeah, I'll throw out 3. I know Hillary, we still go back and forth on this, but I say doom wop, stoner rock. So,
I love
uh,
it.
Love
yeah.
it. That
So
would make
what
such
was
a
really
great
cool.
T-shirt.
Yeah. So it was really cool. We started off kind of, I would say more, maybe more, a little bit more punk or grunge oriented. And then when Hillary came in, she brought the doom. So she had us like, all right, everyone, slow it down and like
I
tune it
love that
down.
stuff, dude.
And also she brought in, she's a awesome singer and like harmony writer. So it just brought a whole nother dimension to the band. So yeah, we're still trying to kind of figure out how to not rebrand, but we have a bunch of different people come in, and we want to represent what we are now as compared to where we started because it's been evolving as we've gone. It's been really interesting, actually.
Now, what is your writing process like now that Hillary is there?
It kind of depends, right? We have very different writing processes.
Yeah.
Steve, our guitarist, who's not here, and we call ourselves the Tinkerers. So Mike has his own unique way of songwriting, which he will describe in just a mere moment. But when we get into the studio, we love to kind of pick shit apart, like in the moment. If somebody comes in with an idea, we love the what if process, right? Like, what if we tried this? What if we tried that? And so we love just kind of woodshedding in real time. And it really doesn't, in terms of lyrics versus music, it kind of depends on the mood and the day. It doesn't, it's never one or the other always. So it's whatever way the wind blows, I guess. But Mike, what do
That's
you think?
great, though. I love
Yeah, I
that
would
you
say,
all take part in it.
yeah, for sure. So I would say I'm a little not a tinkerer. Like I like to kind of plan it out and be like, there it is. So what we're going through right now is, and our previous guitarist, him and I would throw ideas back and forth together. And then when he left and Hillary and Steve came in, it was like, okay, we have to like kind of figure it out all over again. So what we kind of do too is like if Hillary brings in the bulk of a song, she'll be the art director on the song or the musical director on the song. So it's kind of her vision. We'll all throw ideas into the pot, but really when it comes down to like the arrangements or the parts or stuff, she's making the call on that, and vice versa if Steve or Brenton or I bring something in. So that's kind of how we try to spread the love around and make sure it's not like too much of one person or this other person is not really getting a say in that kind of thing. So it's working for us. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, what song would you tell someone that's hearing you guys for the first time? What song would you say, "Listen to this one first"?
Hmm. So we haven't released it yet. I want to say
I
the song
I was
we were
waiting for
talking
that
about
one.
today. Yeah, yeah. I wanted to say the one we were just talking about before the show. It's called Lock and Key. Well, it's probably gonna be out in about 3 or 4 weeks. But the ones we've released so far, I would say Brick by Brick. It's kind of like a slower, doomier song about an old Edgar Allan Poe tale about someone getting bricked up behind a wall alive and left to die. So I would say start with that one.
Oh, that's great.
I love that.
So, where has been the, I'll say, weirdest or most unexpected place that you guys have found inspiration for a song?
That's a good question.
Oh, I mean, not to give too many spoilers about the future, but we've been really exploring a lot of Salem witch culture, just general, like, you know, spell casting, what have you, in the history of witches throughout history. And so our current songwriting process kind of harkens back to that, and especially some of these stories about hexes that were cast on people and the dark and gloomy aftermath that resulted. And so, needless to say, it's not the most uplifting, but it definitely has a really cool theme and lots of motifs around magic and spells and
You know what? Not all songs can be like Harry, like happy, like go lucky, talking about
I
how
love it. It's different. You get so much of, oh, I broke up with my girlfriend or whatever in music today. And that is so unique and different. I love it.
So this is actually pretty interesting. I forget what it was online or something, Hillary. It was a story about like someone who was determined to be a witch out of York, PA. And then I was like, oh, this would be cool. So I sent it to Hillary, and then she comes in and is like, hey, I wrote a song about it. Like, I don't know, like a week later or something, and it was amazing. So like
That is
lyrics,
great.
the whole thing. Yeah.
I
we
love witches and witch culture. I love all of that. Yes, I really need to dive into your music.
I know
sure thing.
I'm trying to get up to Salem like during October.
I
And
went on Halloween.
Oh,
I
cool.
really want
Yeah.
I want to go to Black Craft Cult, their store there so bad. I see like TikToks and different videos with people. It just looks incredible. Like I just want to like be in there and just like look at all the like cool things in there.
We
Have you
almost
guys
went.
like been to any like witchy places?
Well, actually, what we were going to mention. So, the place that inspired the song does exist. And we were going to do a field trip there. Rather, we're planning one. We're like, hey, let's maybe camp out there and see if we get musically inspired. So I need to I need to conjure up the nerve to do it. I'm turning into a little bit of a baby. So after all this witch talk, like I think I'm turning into a bit of a wuss. But yeah, we were planning on maybe making our way out there for a band field trip and see if we could get some songwriting inspo. It's like about an hour away. So
Like the woods kind of make me nervous. Like I'm not like a real big camper or anything, but I do see like really cool ideas that I would like to try. Maybe not like all night long sleeping over wise, but like, a couple hours and just like chill. But they have those big like blow up like ball tents that are clear.
Mhm.
And I see a lot of my friends that are like in that witchy mode that like to go into the woods and like stay overnight. They all have those like cool tents.
Yeah, it can get freaky out there too. I'm definitely a camper, but sometimes you're out in the middle of nowhere and like every little sound, you're looking around and like you're just out there by yourself. So yeah, it can get pretty
I
freaky pretty
have a
quick.
weird connection with animals. And like weird animals come up to me. Like I
Mm.
just feel like I would be mauled by something like strange. And Like, I just
Trying to
can't
fight
go
a mountain
down with that
lion.
being what is in the news article, like, woman gets mauled by, like, some rare, like, let's say, anteater, because that's really strange to be imagining.
Mhm.
That'd make a good song. Woman Mauled by Anteater.
Inspiration.
Like,
Uh,
I haven't heard any songs about honey badgers, and they're
oh,
like I feel like they're the best of both worlds. Like, they're really cute, but then they'll rip your face off if you fuck with them.
yeah. We're taking
Holes,
notes here,
right?
so.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, what are some of I'll ask you both individually as, like, personal. Who are some of your inspirations?
what's that? I'll go first? Yeah, all right. So I
Don't
grew
jump
up
in there.
on yeah, I grew up on, I was the right age, a young kid, in the grunge era, so a lot of the grunge bands coming up, obviously have had a huge effect on me. My first concert was Nirvana's In Utero tour, which, like, just huge, effect on me. Um, but more recently, I know
What
Hillary
was your when you say Nirvana, I feel like you can tell a lot about a person by what Nirvana song. What was your,
ooh,
like, favorite all-time Nirvana song? I feel like you can
um,
do this with the Beatles and with Nirvana. Those 2,
yeah,
like
so yeah, I'm gonna go hardcore geek and say "Stain," the B-side off of Incesticide. It's like one of their B-sides, deep cuts. I don't know why, it's short and, like, awesome, and, tried to do a cover of it before. Maybe one day we'll release it, but yeah, I'll say that one.
Hillary? Who
Is
are your
I
influences?
which is fun. I mean, which is funny because the Beatles are probably one of mine.
Mhm.
But I will say, I mean, my all-time favorite band, as is evidenced by the kind of music that I like to write, is Black Sabbath. I kind of just segued into it from, I was raised on a ton of music, but I think that's my all-time from a metal perspective. But I think what's interesting and definitely lends itself to some of the vocal arrangements that I do is that I grew up on a lot of 60s stuff. So lots of girl groups, like I said, British invasion stuff that has like a lot of just harmonic arrangements. And so you can definitely sense it in a lot of the recordings that we've written together, is that kind of merging of stoner metal, like I said, like vintage 70s vibe, mixed with like something that's very deeply produced, and like I said, layers and layers and layers of like vocals on vocals. So
I feel like you're very on trend right now.
said
I'm
no one
seeing that
ever.
more and more on TikTok, like, I'm loving this whole it'll be like a song where you're totally like everybody knows the song. It's like in like every love movie, like love story movie or like rom-com, like it'll be like a song like that, and all of a sudden they like just throw corn in there.
Yep.
And like I love it. Like I literally like just eat those up on the social media. Like those are the ones I post. I'm like, yeah, wait for it, wait for it.
We were kicking around doing, like, a pop song in a doom style too as a cover and some things like that. I think one of the things too where Hillary and I really connected on initially too is a band called Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats, and they are like Black Sabbath meets the Beatles. Like, they're kind of that both
What was their
sides of
name?
the Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats. So super cool band. Yeah, they also have like a bit of this lore to them, which we're definitely interested in doing, and yeah, just exploring that a bit. So that was one of the things we definitely connected on right away.
Awesome. Like you were saying that you have new music coming out soon.
Yes,
Tell
very
us more
exciting.
about that. What is the influence or inspiration behind the song that you're releasing?
Yeah, so thank you for asking. So we just got like rough mixes about 2 hours ago for the first time. So finally hearing all the vocals in it and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, Hillary, you have to see how you would describe it, but I would say it's a little bit more like upbeat tempo wise. It's heavy, a little punky, and we both are really kind of getting into more like the screaming side of things. And this is kind of like those first steps into that, I think. So getting more into like the extreme vocals. It's a song called Lock and Key, and lyrically, it's about something that you thought was good for you at first, and you
Mhm.
kind of lock yourself in your own cage and throw away the key, only to realize that it's actually not something. It's detrimental to you. So, uh, yeah, that's kind of the main gist of it.
And now when is the release date?
So we're debating that right now. I'd say 3 or 4 weeks. So we got to get final mixes together and then do this whole Spotify pitch and make sure we can get it on some playlists and that sort of thing. But if you do sign up for our email list, you can get it
Mhm.
early, which is cool. So we'll put out a lyric video, like an unlisted lyric video that we're going to
On
send
the
to our
bottom,
email list.
going across the
There you
bottom of
go.
the
Yeah, yeah,
screen.
yeah, yeah.
So
So
at
we're going to
any
do that
time, you
early.
guys can go on.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. So any early adopters will be able to hear it even sooner. How would you describe it, Hillary?
Thrashier. I think it's definitely a transitional period for us. This is definitely there's a pre this song and there's definitely a post this song. So I think that this is an interesting turning point for the band where the powers are combining the current band members and you're hearing a lot of our influences, but certainly more in comparison to the previous stuff. Certainly more fast paced, a lot more aggressive, like thrash influence for sure. Versus some of the other albums that were, I think, a little bit more grunge influence, but you can
Hmm.
kind of see again like the new entrance in the band kind of coming together, and it's pretty evident on the song. And like Mike said, like we're really diving deep into pushing it with the vocals. So
Yep.
Now last year you released an EP in April, like earlier in the year, and then you released another one. What has made you kind of change it up and release the singles this time?
Yeah, great question. So, um, exactly what Hillary's saying is like these songs are kind of not holdovers, but were starting to be written with the old, I don't want to say old band, but that first era of the band. And then like as Hillary came in and as Steve came in, um, things started to change. So these are kind of the last holdovers of that first era. And we're like, oh, we can put out another EP. Why not just release them as like two one-off singles and we can push them separately? And also kind of lead up to the new stuff, which is what we're really excited about, like doing a full length with the new band and the new direction we're headed in.
Now, what are some of the things that you would like to explore in the future as far as like maybe instruments or aesthetics or stuff like that?
You want to go, Hillary?
Either one.
think we do have a lot of multi instrumentalists in the group. I know that we started farting around with a few things on our last album, whether it's like we were talking about theremins and organs, and there was like a Fender. Was that maybe it was like a Hammond
Hmm.
organ or a B3? I can't remember. But just kind of pushing it with some unique instrumentation. I play a little piano, so like kind of jumping in on that. So I think there's that piece of it. But we really want to get a little bit more conceptual, per the whole witch idea. We want to start writing albums with kind of a start to finish narrative, if you will. And so we're
That was
really
going to be
loving
my
this.
next question
Yeah.
with this one. Are you planning on making it more of like a story?
I mean, we were just kind of laying out what the whole framework would be and what the song list will be. Um, but it's definitely got a really interesting arc, a lot of excitement, some drama, some romance, a little of everything. So and a lot of and a lot of gore too. So something for everyone. But needless to say, I think we really want to be mindful of the whole start to finish album experience. And so when you listen to a Bellwether Ritual album, it's truly like hold on for the ride. But
I also find it's way easier to write with an overarching concept in mind than try to write one-off songs. Because like our previous EP that we just released last year, it was like, all right, well, what is this about? It didn't really have like a cohesive thing. So there were songs about like Woodstock '69, cavemen, that Edgar Allan Poe story. It was kind of like all over the place, and it's hard to like have these little disparate things to try to get ideas across when you have that overarching concept. You're like, all right, step one is this, so this song will be about that, and you can just kind of explore that in detail with the lyrics and all that sort of stuff. So I really like this process, and I'm super happy we're going down this path. To answer your question before too, I would really like to get to push the psychedelia a lot more and get a little
Mhm.
trippier. There's a cool little twist in the story, and there's some theories about like how the witch trials even came about and what caused them. That's very psychedelic. So we're going to try to go into that and explore that a little bit, using like period instruments too, so like harpsichord or that kind of stuff, and try to we're considering doing like little segues and interludes to try to tie everything together as well. So yeah, things like that. And to continue
Do you guys
on,
have
like
plans for
Hilary.
really cool do you guys have plans for really cool music videos? Because as you're talking, like, I am just getting, like, so many cool visuals, like, in my head.
Yeah, me too.
I'm, like,
Sure,
sitting
yeah.
there, like, kinda zoning out. I'm like, "Wait, am I making a face?" Like,
Yeah, so actually we have a I don't know if we want to talk about this one too, Hillary, but we do have another single coming out soon that we also were kind of thinking about concepts for a music video for as well. But yeah, we would love to do for the Witch record as well.
yeah, that you could do some really, really cool things. I mean, like, I'm all about, like, the Studio 54 and, like, that '70s vibe and, like,
Mhm.
I mean, you can't have too many disco balls, like, that's just a plus, and, like, I'm one of those ones that has, like, the lighting strips that, like, are all different colors, like, literally all through
Yeah,
my house.
yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Same. You can see him back there. There you
Oh, it's great.
go. Yeah, I'm in the
Yeah, I
music
like
room
and
right
I
now.
like to have them all, like, different colors. Like, I feel
Mhm.
like when I walk in this room, it's aqua. When I walk in this room, it's, like, pink.
Yeah, it's all about the vibe.
yeah, it's interesting that you bring that up because we the video that we've been pursuing now for this other song, it's very quite the opposite of the Witch record. Again, we're kind of like screwing around with ideas right now, but it's very like sci-fi, like kind of 50s futurism. And the whole idea for the music video is almost exactly that. We really want to like it has to do with extraterrestrials, I'll just say that, of a different kind. And so what can we do? Like, is there some black lights involved? Do we need some like cool lighting? What do the costumes look like? But I think that there's a really, we can really uh, push it to the limit in terms of how technicolor it could really be. But more to come on that for sure.
Yeah,
I
we're big
find it
fans of that.
very cool that you guys have such a knack for finding a balance between the darkness and beauty in the song. I
That's a
mean,
great
even
way to put it.
your lyrics are really cool. Are there
Mm,
any
Oh, thank
lyrics
you.
that really, like, stick out to you guys that? Because I know
Yeah,
in the
yes.
moment when you're writing, but when you hear it back and, like, sometimes, like, there's just that one line that just kinda sticks with you.
I don't know if I can crack one off the top right now, but brick by brick, I think for me personally is one just because it had such a cool kind of backstory of the Edgar Allan Poe story, and I had heard that story. It was like English class in like, I don't know, it's 7th grade or something like that, and our English teacher read it to us, and it was, like, terrifying, and it still sticks with me to this day, and when we were coming up with it, like, "Oh, yeah, let's try to explore this a little bit." So, yeah, that was a cool one, how that came together, and Hillary's got some awesome ones. It's a little bittersweet because we can't really go into too much about them yet because 'cause they're not kind of fully fleshed out, but she's awesome. That was one of my concerns, honestly, when someone else comes into the band. It's like, "All right, are they gonna wanna what are they gonna wanna do? Are they gonna wanna write? Are they gonna wanna, uh, write lyrics and that stuff too?" And that's like, because those can be, especially if you're singing other people's lyrics. And then she came in with the first song right away, and I was like, "All right, I don't have anything to worry about." She just like rips them out super quick. They're awesome. She has her process that she goes through, but that really helped me kind of just be like super confident in what we're doing too, because that was always something, it's hard to sing about someone else's viewpoint sometimes, but man, as soon as she brought stuff in, it was like, all right, I don't have anything to worry about.
So I gotta ask, since you guys are doing the screaming now and
Mhm.
the like heavy vocals, have you guys had to change your, like, let's say, ritual with prepping your throat and your voice?
Needless to say, I think it's interesting because I think neither of us was really acclimated to singing how the other one sings.
Mhm.
Mike has a very, screaming and the aggressive vocals are in Mike's wheelhouse. They were not for me initially. I have a little bit more of an operatic style. And so now we're kind of trying to learn each other's techniques, if you will. And so it's been a really fun and interesting experience. But both in terms of how we prep and warm up, but I think the coolest thing about it, we just had a show locally. And I mean, just from my personal experience, getting to the point where you actually feel confident, you know, singing like that, it's friggin' liberating. And when you kind of can just push yourself to your full potential, um, it was just nice to cut loose. But it was definitely a painstaking process, I think, for both. I don't want to speak for
Metal
Mike. I'm going to speak for
fans
both.
are
Yeah.
metal fans are the best. They are. I
Mhm.
mean, Jamie, you go to a ton of concerts too. I mean, like, man, they are so loyal and they stick with you. And
Yeah.
I mean,
Best
they
group
will
of
follow
fans
you
that I've dealt
anywhere.
with.
So I'm excited to hear. Now, for your stage presence, I mean, does that take a lot more out of you doing the vocals? And because I would imagine that's like gotta be tired. I mean, I watch some of the bands and I'm like, geez, like they gotta be like tired and a like I would have like a can of like throat lozenges like sitting there.
Raw honey too.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
absolutely. Go ahead, Mike.
yeah, no, I and not only that, but we also both play an instrument and sing simultaneously. So there's like this dual thing your brain has to do. And actually, what I find it easiest is just forget about. I don't even think about playing guitar anymore. I just focus on the singing. Hillary might be different. I don't know, but yeah, I try to warm up before shows. Believe it or not, like usually on the ride there, I have a warm up routine that I go through. To Hillary's point, I was much more of like I'll just scream and make something up, and then she comes in with like these beautiful melodic lines and all these harmonies with it. So I'm like, oh man, now I gotta really focus on the singing side of things, and it's like she was saying, it's been really um, um, like humbling and also educational too, because we kind of are filling in each other's gaps right now, and then but we're both kind of leveling up at the same time, which is super cool.
Now I know you guys met off of Craigslist, but what was that moment? Because I mean, you guys are really like you guys seem like you really respect each other and you really like want to have that cohesive. What was that moment that you guys realized that you guys really have something special?
I gotta say, our last show, to me, that was like I don't know what, like, I think we're finally getting to the point where we were rehearsing, like, I was kind of freaking out, I gotta be honest, because everyone wanted to play some new songs, and I was like, they're not ready," and I had to rehearse a lot, but we had some practices right before that show where I was just like,
And you
"Oh,
killed it, didn't
wow."
you?
The show? Yeah, it went great, and, that that's part of I'm a worrywart, so I'm always gonna go through that process where I think Hillary's more like, "Let's do it, gung ho," kinda thing, but yeah, I
It's
think there was.
definitely
Go ahead,
Always
yeah.
just do it.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's good though because we balance each other out.
Mhm.
Mike keeps us disciplined. Like sometimes we're like, I don't want to do it. We don't need to practice this week, but he keeps us focused, which is good. But then on the flip, when Mike's worried about these shows, I'm like, it's just a show. Who gives a shit? Like if we fuck up, we fuck up, and let's just move on. And on to the next. And you kind of just have to take a laissez faire attitude. And so I think both of us have kind of absorbed each other's kind of, the way we work. And the end result was just like we were completely relaxed. And I think we really trusted each other, when it came to the actual performance. And the end result definitely spoke for itself. So.
Yeah, it was
I
super cool.
definitely think the most trying thing with a band is when you go to play a venue that has a bad sound system. Like, you get
Oh,
to
we
really see a band's, like, true colors, if they really like each other or if they're just kind of faking it. Like, in that moment when that sound and, like, it's always, like, a new person that just started the job, and, like, they really have no idea what they're doing, and it doesn't matter, like, what happens because it's just that bad at that point. Like, that's when you really find out, like, how strong the band is.
Yeah, or you don't have a sound person at all, and you have to just kinda do it all on your own, which we've had a few of those too. Actually, that I think that is one of the big things that made this last show particularly, great was we hired a sound person specifically for the show, and it made such a difference when you can hear everything and all that good stuff. And, we do like, we both have a vision of what we want the band to be, and it's not always the same. So, like, we're still obviously, there's times where we butt heads, and that's cool. That's part of the creative process. And I think we're learning how to do that too, like how to butt heads respectfully and like try to get the best out of the band, which is the ultimate goal, really.
Now, do you have any dream venues or dream, like, collaborations that you would like to do?
Heck yeah. I want to and Castle Rat
Yeah.
and but we didn't get it, maybe it was
Who
about
do
a
you
year
wanna
or
do?
so ago.
We're back.
Okay.
Um,
So, as far as we were talking about dream concerts, what would your dream concert or collab be?
I'm gonna go back to Uncle Acid because we just love them so much, and I feel like that would be super cool. Yeah, I'll say that one. I would say open for them, or it'd be great to do a collab. I would also like to do some other like regional band collabs too. I think that would be pretty cool. There's some great bands out there.
And Hillary?
I mean, I live and breathe all things stoner metal. I love Matt Pike's Sleep, High
Oh,
on Fire. So anything in the vein of just the sludgiest, like half speed, metal, that's like right up my alley. So anything in that vein, Electric Wizard, that kind of stuff. But like the slower and sludgier, the better.
now do you guys have any pre-show rituals?
Ooh, that's a good question. So, I always feel like we're running around like crazy beforehand, and we do get like we used to do like a little soul circle beforehand. We put on this last show ourselves, so we were like, we have to get the lights up and make sure the sound runs. And by the time we were actually up, I forgot to like even the performance part of it, I was like, oh, I got to snap out of it and like get into performance mode because you're so worried about making sure everyone
Like
else is
wiping sweat off you.
yeah, or just remember like get up there and rock out, that's like the whole point of it. And sometimes you can get preoccupied with like, oh, this one light isn't working, or the acoustic guitar isn't coming through the speaker correctly, and then you forget about like, oh, you're here to entertain, and that's the whole point of it, and connect with the audience. So yes, we do like to try to get together before and just be like, hey, just be thankful for each other too. Like, it's been so crazy. Like, I would never have thought starting in 2001, like I'd be here with these three other people, random that I would never know, and like creating art together and like performing it for people. So that whole thing has been pretty crazy. But yeah, we would like to try to get rituals together before the show. It doesn't always happen though, because it's pretty chaotic.
So what went into the atmosphere? I'm always curious because I've noticed like bands go all out, and I think it's because I started going like before, because like I do the interviews and everything. And I've noticed like so much goes into it. I mean, they pick their lighting like down to the colors that are like what went into the atmosphere of your last show.
Yeah. Um, So we just got lights, which was awesome. So it was like our first foray into that. But then also, I'm like a graphic artist and video editor for a profession. So I love like clips of like creepy video things, or like we had like an X-ray of a bat flying, blood dripping, trippy, like 60s liquid visuals, like just kind of all a mishmash of stuff. So we had that
Gothic
projected on the
hippie.
wall. What's that?
Gothic hippie.
Yeah, that might be a good way to describe it. Yeah, yeah. Maybe
Words.
maybe that'll be our 3-word description or 2-word description. But yeah, so we really kind of focused on that too. I can't stand, actually, I do not love when all the lights are on when I'm playing. Like I want it to be dark and like lit minimally, and
Just
then have,
enough.
yeah, and then have
Atmosphere.
the visual. Yeah, and that, to your point, like try to make that atmosphere and the experience there of that. So, and then where the attention should be focused and that sort of thing too. It really kind of helps pull it all together. So, yeah.
You really only need like enough light on the band. Like I hate when these bands have these crazy like they're like headlight like high beam
Mhm.
flashing bulbs. Like I mean, man, I had to stop wearing the fake eyelashes like when I went to certain places because I realized that that's part of their like set, and I was losing eyelashes. I mean, by the end of the night, it looked like I had a spider like climbing on my face, and I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? It's gonna keep happening. Like, if I want my
Yeah.
spot in the front, then I'm gonna lose an eyelash. Like, this is it."
Visually, I feel like I come from like, Tool used to be one of my favorite bands back in the day, and I saw them a whole bunch. So they made a big impact on me too, because it was almost all about the visuals. You could
Mhm.
barely see those cats up there sometimes. But that for me, I want to take some of that visual aspect. Who else? I think recently Mastodon 2 was a band for me that I really kind of dug, because they do like super heavy, but then also super
Yeah.
trippy stuff. Yeah. So that for me personally, that's some of the places I take it from.
Now, are there any venues that you're looking to play at?
Yeah. So we were talking about this a little bit before, but I know it sounds crazy, but in Wilkes-Barre, there's a donut shop called Curry Donuts, which George runs. He also has a few bands up in Wilkes-Barre, which is super cool. But he basically runs a donut shop during the day, and then after like 6 o'clock, he shuts the donut shop down and turns it into a venue. And then he also has a back parking lot. So once it gets warm enough, everyone goes out back. It's super cool. Like at first you hear it, you're like, what's going on? But it's always been a good show for us too. It's always free, and we actually do better at so far at free shows too, because I don't like to. You want to try to keep the barrier to entry as low as possible, or at least I do, and get people through the door. That's the most important thing. They'll support you in other ways, I feel like. So we've been really kind of working on that. What are some other venues recently? Kind of like a VFW hall. That's the one that we were at last. Had like a bowling alley in the basement, and they'll do like wrestling shows sometimes there, which
I
is cool.
love
That's
it.
So you like those intimate venues where you can kind of connect.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you have more control over the experience too, like we were talking about before, where you control the lighting, you control all that kind of stuff. So
Have you guys been down to Kung Fu Necktie?
Went to see Baroness there on Christmas when they did their secret show there. It's teeny. I mean, certainly would be on the bucket list to play. Just
I
in
definitely
terms of
could see you guys
play.
playing there.
Yeah.
we pitched them
Out,
recently. Yeah.
Well, we have
go
some
ahead.
friends over there, so
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah. We'd be
we'll see
definitely.
what we can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are there any other like
Yeah.
are you guys would like are you guys trying to play festivals eventually? Or are you guys more trying to kind of stay with those intimate places? I mean, a lot of people, I mean, I know I just saw someone walking around with it last night, the machine shop. I mean,
That's
people
where I'm from.
Okay. Cool.
That's Michigan.
I mean, I hear all sorts of stuff about that. I mean, like, is
Yeah.
that
There's
as cool as everybody says?
Yes, that is one of the top coveted places to play in Michigan. Very, very, very small venue. I'm not 100% sure the cap, but I think it's about 500. So it's I'm going to be seeing Nothing More there next month. So I'm super excited about that one. But it's a venue that literally sells out in minutes, no matter who they book there. So
Jamie, do you know the Michigan Metal Fest? Do you?
Yeah,
absolutely.
covering
Okay,
Yes.
cool. Yeah, yeah. We were gonna pitch for that, but we're trying to focus like regionally first and work our way out to that. But really,
I'm friends with the people that run Michigan Metal Fest, so
oh,
I'm very
sweet.
familiar with it. So
Oh,
yeah,
very
you
cool.
should try and get on there in 2026.
Yeah, yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
The Maryland Doom Fest, I think, is something we really would like to be a part of. We pitched for that last year, but they book like years out, so we have to be patient with that one. But that would be another great one too. We would love to get down into Maryland. They seem to have a really great scene down there, Virginia too. So that's kind of going to be our focus right now. Is like we're booked August 22nd at Mother Pugs in Staten Island, which is great. And then like right now we're
That
pitching
just sounds
Philly.
fun.
Yeah. We're pitching some Philly dates, and like I said, trying to get down into Maryland and Virginia too, because that seems to be a hotbed right now.
Yes,
Well,
my
we got tons
boyfriend
of
lives
friends
in
down
Delaware, so I've seen
Oh,
some
cool.
shows in Maryland.
Bar 13?
No.
Oh, okay. We pitched for that one too. But yeah, just
I
trying
heard
to
that's
just
a very fun venue. I have,
yeah,
I mean, a ton of my friends have been there, and they speak very highly of that venue.
yeah. So that's another one that's on the list we're trying to get into. But yeah, very cool.
Yeah, Maryland has a lot of fun venues.
Yeah. They have a great scene down there. Lots of great bands too. And Virginia, they've always kind of had that ever since like Guar and Lamb of God really kind of
Yep.
landed down there. So yeah, I think, but Maryland, I think is kind of I don't know if it's a secret, but I never knew how much of like Doom Central it was. So I should.
Hidden gem. That's what you call that. Hidden
Mm.
gem.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and they have a great metal festival too. So yeah, good things happening down there.
Well, you know what? They went like you went from not hearing about any venues out that way, and then all of a sudden, like it was like, oh, this is a Maryland. Oh, Maryland, Maryland, Maryland. Like I feel like they opened a lot of cool venues basically around the same time. I'm telling you, the COVID, the pandemic it really opened things up. I mean,
Yeah,
we got great bands, we
great
got
music.
great venues, great music. I mean, like a lot came out of it. Being
Yeah, I think
optimistic.
yeah, I think the whole Seattle explosion too, one of the big reasons that happened was it was so isolated that
Yep.
they just kind of they had to make a community out of it. That was the only way. And then it got to this point where it kind of snowballed into something bigger than any of them had planned. So I think maybe that could be a bit of what's happening down there too, potentially.
Since you guys are so creative, are there any like fun Easter eggs in any of your songs?
Yes. So our song Brown Acid, I guess it's not much of an Easter egg because it's right in the front, but I don't know how much you know about like Woodstock 69, the original one, but there was a story. This is what the song is about. There
My mom's hippie.
they basically over the loudspeaker was like, "Hey everyone, listen, don't take the brown acid. It's really not very good." But what happened was there were a lot of people who already took it. So when they heard the announcement, they all just kind of freaked out because they're like, "Oh my
Oh,
god, I took the brown acid and now, they don't know what's going to happen." So that was kind of the bit of the nugget of where that song was written around. So I don't know, I kind of find it funny and terrifying simultaneously. So we're like, all right, let's try to imagine like we're in that situation and that's kind of what's happening. And that's kind of where the idea for that song came from.
I'm gonna have to go back and listen to all your songs all over again. I have like a whole page of notes.
Yeah. Oh, to your point, we love to do that. Like I love those little hidden gems and Easter eggs and stuff like that. So we'll definitely make sure we get them in the new stuff too.
Now, when you
Lot
guys
coming
go
out.
into like when you
Okay.
guys go into the recording studio, do you guys really go in with an exact plan of what you're doing, or do you kind of like let things slide if they fit?
a, a loose agenda, and then we kind of just free jazz it from there. We see what can we get done that we can get done. But needless to say, I think sometimes we like free jazz is the word. Like right in the moment, we'll be like, "Yo, let's see. Like maybe we should put this in the song." And shit that we didn't even expect, to put onto the record makes it onto the record. On the day of recording. So I think we kind of have a good understanding, but we've had a lot of surprises, especially as
I
we
feel
were
like that
recording.
happens with the
Yeah.
screaming though. Like I think like most of the people that I talk to that really are into the screaming and like the heavy vocals, they all say that, you know, things can happen. Things can happen in the recording studio. Like if it happens, it happens.
Yeah, that's part of
I
what
mean,
makes it
I've even
exciting.
heard a couple of them. They're like, it happened in the recording studio. I don't know that I can necessarily every show like copy it, but like I try.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. I think I'm more of like a planner. Like I want to go in there and like I want everything done and I just want to execute my parts. And like pretty much everyone else is like, no, I want to like let me try
And
this, do
the
that.
tinkerers come in,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
the plan gets spoiled. So
Which is yeah, yeah, but we get some awesome like you're saying, some real things like you would never think of. And I think that's what's cool about that too. Like we can all write by ourselves, but it, and there's a consistency in that, but you really get these highs when everyone collaborates together and like there's things I would never ever think of that we have in our songs now too, which is crazy. So for this next record, what I would love to do, there's a song about I guess being burned at the stake, and I would love to bring like friends in to just like do a scream track and just like everyone just scream like they're being burned at the stake and try to get that in there too. So we're gonna try to get a little more collaboration in that regard as well.
Now, are you guys more for like analog or digital recording?
feel like we're kind of opposite ends of the
You
spectrum
both
on
just
that to
smile
some
at the same time.
degree. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what makes the magic, I think. But to me, I mean, of course I love the sound of analog, but digital is so much easier and like um it just it makes me worry about the songwriting and not about how I'm gonna record. So that's what I really love about digital. I'm pretty much all digital nowadays. Not that I'm against analog or anything, but just as far as workflow goes and getting things done, that's just what I know. So that's where
It's
I come
okay to go the easier route. I've like accepted that, especially lately. Like, you know what? If you can get through it and do it in a way that's like your own, why not go the easy route? Like I've stopped fighting it.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting? This goes for graphic arts too. Um, a big part of the process is making it sound old or look old. So like you record it digital and then try to make it sound analog, which is kind of like weird, but that's kind of, I think, trying to get the best of both worlds out of it too. So, but yeah, Hillary, I think you're more analog, right?
Old fashioned gal in that regard. And when it comes to our actual rigs, and the guys, they all have like multi effects processors, like floorboards that kind of have all the bells and whistles in one. And I'm like piecing together like vintage. I like the most
Yeah.
vintage of pedals, and I'm like, no, I want this one from the '60s. Like I'm not using a floorboard, so we tend to like butt heads on that, but at the end of the day, it is easier. And so, as stubborn as I am about, no, I want this sound, I'm a purist, it's got to be this, and it's got to be like completely like tube driven, no digital processing. And then I'm like, shit, it was more efficient at the end of the day. So
But
what do I
that's
Now, how
know?
do you guys deal with creative differences? Like,
oh, we fight.
do you go
No.
back and forth where you can be right this time, you're right this time, or do you guys kind of fight it out until one gives?
No, I think like we were talking about before, we have that kind of art slash music director. So if Hillary brings something in, we know that all right, she's gonna for the most part be making the big decisions here. Like we'll throw parts out or ideas out, but really when it comes down to it, like um she's gonna be making the decisions. What's happening recently, which is super cool, and what I think to me the strongest songs are, like I'll bring an idea in, she'll come in with this awesome vocal thing to put on top, and then Steve plays a solo, Brenton plays a beat, whatever. It really kind of comes together and it's bigger than the sum of the parts. And that's to your point about, you know, where it's starting to really click and we're starting like, oh, this is great. That's what's really starting to happen now. So that's always exciting.
So we're getting there on time. So
Mhm.
I want to, is there, I want you to go back over and say, uh, you said 3 to 4 weeks for your new single.
Yep.
Um, where you said they find it on your email, or do you guys kind of have one of the socials? I know that like some of the socials I'm on all the time. Some I'm like, I'm on there like if I'm in the mood.
So our main social is, I would say, is Instagram. That's one that seems to has the most traction right now. We have a website, bellwetherritual.com, which I would recommend everyone go to. That's where you can sign up for the email list. And what we're gonna do is we'll always release content first there. So like the hardcores will get first dibs on that kind of stuff. So we have we just got our new single Lock and Key, like first mixes tonight, which is awesome. It's probably gonna be about 3 or 4 weeks, but the email list will get it first. So I would say go to the website, sign up for the email list, and we'll have a lyric video together that'll be released before the Spotify stuff, all that kind of stuff, but it'll be unlisted. And then once the Spotify, all the platforms hit, then we'll release it to everyone else. But yeah, so if you want to hear it, we'll send it to you probably right now. But
Thank
yeah,
you so much, first of all, for releasing lyric videos because they are so important,
mhm.
especially to people like me that if I don't know the lyrics, I'll make up my own.
Yep.
Very
That's
important.
okay too.
Second of all, thank you so much because all of your music is on every social media. I can't stand when I go to put it on stories and I want like a selection to choose from, and bands do not have it on there. I just
Mhm.
have to give you a shout out because your music is right there, ready to go on every single social media. Great.
Well, thank you. It does take a little bit longer, and that's why it's going to be like probably more like 4 to 6 weeks before it gets to Spotify, because we have to go through the actual process and pitch it and all that kind of stuff. But we also want to have it available for the people who really want to hear it as soon as possible. So that's what we're doing the soft rollout. Yeah.
And if people are trying to get in touch with you, to connect with you, or to book you, or whatever, Instagram is the way to go, or email?
Yeah, Instagram's probably the easiest. We check that all the time. Our website, also bellwetherritual.com, has contact information there. You can send us a note anytime. Yeah, those are the best ways for sure.
And definitely hit up Kung Fu Necktie, because I could
Yeah.
definitely see you guys there. Like, such a cool venue. Awesome. Just watch the parking. We got like involved with the whole like predatory towing situation where
They're the
like,
worst. Yeah.
yeah, they like it was a whole thing. But yeah, other than that, like that is such a cool venue, and I just love it. And yeah, I could definitely see you guys there and rocking that. And I wish you guys all the luck. And hey, when you guys get new stuff, definitely hit us up, because we'll have you on. We can even do like when you have your music, or when you have your lyric video, we can even have it on and do like a blind reaction. Those are always
Oh, that'd
fun.
be awesome. Yeah. I'd be very interested to hear what you have to
Those
say
are
about it.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and definitely any show, especially since, well, I'm local and a lot of our viewers are local and around me, and especially on my social media. So definitely let me know when you guys are playing shows, because I'll come out.
Yeah, will do for sure. And
And
thank
if
you
you
both.
get to the Midwest, I will come see you.
Happening.
Or
So
Well,
Midland.
they
officially.
better put in
Yeah.
for Michigan
Yeah.
Metal Fest.
Yeah.
Jamie's
Yeah,
gonna be waiting for you guys.
Yeah, very
2026.
Gonna be asking the higher ups, like, "Hey, did you hear from Bellwether Ritual?"
Yeah, thank you so much for having us on. Like, this was, like I said before, we've done live streams where we've interviewed people, but it's very much the other way around. And I was a little nerve-wracking this time, to be perfectly honest. But thank you so much.
Listen, you don't have to worry about it being nerve-wracking, because if there's anything that you need to change or anything, you can always come back on and talk to us again.
Yeah, that's
Right,
true.
right.
Very cool. Well, yeah, we'll have 2 singles coming out
Yeah.
and that full record, so we'll have plenty going on in 2025 for sure.
Yay.
And we'll make sure that we all repost when and share when your music drops. And
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait.
Anything
But
else there?
definitely put in the Kung Fu Necktie, because I definitely want to come see you there. But thank you so much, both of you,
Alan,
for
too.
taking the time to come on. Maybe next time we can get the rest of the group on with us.
Yeah, yeah, thank you both so much for having us on.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
All right, and we'll send that new music.
Definitely.
We'll send the links over soon, and yeah, we're wrapping that up right now. So much appreciated.
Hey, I can't wait to hear it. Thank you so much.
All right, have a great night, guys.
You
Bye.
too.
Bye bye.
Oh, they were so fun.
Oh my gosh, they were great. I really need to do a really extensive deep dive into this now that I know that they're talking about crazy things like witches and extraterrestrials and whatever the hell else I love it. I love it. I love
I mean,
the concept of them.
like I said, like I have to go back and re-listen to all of it, because
Oh,
now I've
oh,
got like
yeah.
the stories behind
Now
it.
that
I'm
I
like,
know, like, and this Woodstock, the brown acid thing, yeah. Now I know. I am interested, and I want more of them.
definitely. I don't know. It's like become with this show, like, I mean, you never know what to expect with any of them, but man, so many cool bands. I'm like,
Oh yeah,
it's crazy, because like every time I go into it, I'm like, oh, I wonder what this band's about. Like, I end up like I'll go into it, I'll be like, oh, like I hope I like have enough to talk to them about this, that, and the other thing. And then an hour flies by, and it's like, oh,
you're
it
like, well,
definitely did.
gotta cut it off now. Yeah. They're fun. I really like that it's not just the same old thing that everybody else is singing about. Like, I love the storytelling aspect of it. That's phenomenal.
And like Hilary, I could see her like being like a powerhouse on stage.
And if she's
Beautiful.
got like an operatic background, I mean, that puts her at like, you know, like an Amy Lee kind of level. So absolutely. I look forward to seeing what they're going to be releasing this year.
And we can definitely like throw it out to American mosh pits.
Yes. 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 Because that's got to be some fun music. So yeah, it's a mosh too. So
I
absolutely.
think it's funny, like whenever anybody says they're from Maryland or like anywhere down that way, I'm like, you should really hit up American mosh pits.
Yep. That's their territory.
But thanks again for another great episode.
Oh yeah, it's always fun. Looking forward to the next one.
Man, and it's crazy. Like, I mean, so many bands have reached out to us and so many exciting things coming on. And honestly, like, I wish I could hop on every single night because I hate saying no to any of them. But
Right.
I mean, keep writing us. Like, if we don't get back to you right away, like, we are people and we do like have other things going on in our lives, but like, we want to have you all on. We want to
Yes,
talk
and
to you all. We want to hear your stories. We want to hear behind the band.
Yep.
Like
And we have
honestly,
some exciting people that we're going to be talking to in April for sure. I know this much. So stay tuned for all of that.
and it just keeps like filling up. Like, it's
Mhm.
funny because every time I have like a date and I'm like, oh, like maybe we'll do like WTF on this date. Like all of a sudden a band hits me up and I'm like,
Yep.
what?
Yep. And I like talking to the bands. That's my favorite part. So
It's definitely fun. But well, my dog is like standing here looking at me like I need to go out.
my cats are scratching at my door. I can hear them. So I will see you later.
But thank you everybody for tuning in. Make sure you check out Bellwether Ritual
Yeah.
and make sure you subscribe to a pretty little podcast. Yeah. Until
Bye,
next
guys.
week.